And okay. Good evening, everyone, in Unique Word. This is The Voice. Tonight we have our distinguished elder who is serving as our special guest. And he is not just an elder in Unico, he's not just a member of Unico, but he is one of the founding fathers. Tonight we will travel back in time with the distinguished elder Jan Harris Yagowon, who is currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia. Our founding father, Honorable Yagowon, you are welcome
Yes.
to The Voice.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you to the audience.
Yeah. So tonight we will want you introduce yourself and then we will proceed with the show. So right after you've introduced yourself, we will ask you a few questions basically about the founding of Unico. And then as you explain, we will have people from our audience who will want to ask, they will ask you based on the number that is on stage. Some might leave comments. And then you will answer the question as we progress with your presentation. So at this time, we say, welcome to The Voice. We are excited to have you, and we'll give you this opportunity to talk about yourself, introduce yourself, and talk about yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Jan Harris Yagewon. I was born in Sekimpa Town, the little village they call it Boapi. And I was born on Saturday morning, according to the history of my mom told me, that was 1952. After that, I was there until I was 17. My mom passed away. I went down to Monrovia. I was there working, attending high school. I graduated in 1976. After 76, I worked as an LPA agent. Then I make my way to the United States. 1978, November the 12th, I entered JFK. Then after that, I went to a little school in Kentucky, the Paducah Vocational and Technical School in Western Kentucky. Then I transferred to Atlanta, attending Massey Business College. So at that point, that's the time I entered the United States. So right now I'm 74 years of age.
Wow, wow. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And if I hear you correctly, clearly, you said you entered the United States in 1978, correct?
78, November the 12th, 5
November 12th.
p.m. with Penn.
Oh, that's cool. So entering America 1978, that was just like a year to the founding of Unico in Atlanta, Georgia. And I know
That's correct.
when you got here, you probably met a few Nimbayans, and there wasn't an organization which was something that the entire group here was hanged on. There might be some little groups that people were connected to socialize or to seek common purposes. So can you tell me what it was when you got here in 78, progressing to the time that Unico came to existence? How was it like?
Well, when I moved to Atlanta in 1979, after I transferred to Massey Business College, my cousin Sil Goa, he was living in Atlanta here, and I moved to him. So when I moved here, He took me to a restaurant at a restaurant at Lennox Square Plaza, Peace Room. When I came, the number of the for year, that was the Our Bow, that was the Year family, the Moses State, and Bonson, and myself, so and Gabriel Suo, and all. But when I came, the person up there working as a dishwasher, Dwake Mungu working there. Then Dr. Duo, George Duo was working there part-time. He was attending Maurice Brown College. And Joe here used to work there part-time. So while we were there, I worked there like 2 months. So I asked Dwake Mungu, I said, but how you guys live here? You don't have any organization like a club or whatsoever on Sunday? So at least we can able to sit down sometime, have fun together. He said no. So unfortunately, John Bibra came, that's since 79 April. And after that, I think 1 month or two, his mother passed away. That time that was me, John Bibra, Segwa were living at Lucia Avenue at West End. So they came to see that with him. And I brought the same idea which I approached Dwake on it. I said it's better for us to organize instead of something happening to somebody. So from there, we were able to group ourselves and organize NIMBA Student Association in 1979. And the conference was held here in Atlanta because Dwake have been living in the state. He had most of the Nimbanian telephone number. So we making the coach at that time and start making contact. And the first conference was held here. I served as general secretary. And I remember the chapter that came, I can name it, that was Yadro. He came from Texas, Francis Senior, and one other guy, John Lam, they came from South Carolina. George Josiah, they came from North Carolina. Michael Dan and Yene, they came from Ohio. Then James said, used to come from Philadelphia. He's alone. He said the father and the son. Then few other people came. So I said as a general secretary. So after that, that's where we proceed. And the conference later on, we appointed George Duo to be the chairperson.
Okay, that is really great. Huh? Now, you came about with a question that what do you people have here? I believe it was Mongrel you were asking, what do you people have here that at least can make people sit together on Sundays or weekends and commute and socialize and and he said there was nothing available. There was absolutely nothing available. And I believe it was a shock to you
That's
because
correct.
you just coming from Liberia. Yeah, you just coming from
Mhm.
Liberia, you see how it is back there when people are always together. And then you came here and after work, there's no one to hang around with, you feel isolated. And back in the day, not many Nigerians were here. So you just listed a few names, some people who traveled, including James Say and from Philadelphia, some delegates from Ohio, making their way out there to Georgia to form an organization. So that was so cool at the time. And I believe there was a bit of struggle in connecting with people because, again, you said one of the elders at that time, he was not an elder, but one of the founding members knew so many Nigerians and he had a telephone numbers and you people had to put in the calls. What was the reception like in Atlanta, Georgia,
Mhm.
when the reality hit ground that there is something
Oh, it
that
was
we
very
can come up with to hold us together?
well when we organized NIMBA Student Association, because one of the main reasons at that time with me when I was in Liberia, I even organized the Sekimpa boys because the school was broken down. So I've been an organizer before coming to America. So when I came, I saw everybody was just on their own. And number one, our problem in United States those days was immigration problem. So we said probably need to organize ourselves. So at least if anything happens, so we can, try to maneuver and get a person out.
So you just reminded me, talking about immigration problem. I don't know who was the president in 1979. Was it Reagan or I'm not sure who was.
1979, that was Jimmy Carter until 1980.
Oh, that was Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
And then this immigration issue started way back in because
Immigration.
no,
Mhm.
they've not been joking with it, and even today we are having this immigration problem. So people came together to hold so that they can help each other. When someone is in problem, they can see how they can help and get that person out. So could you give me a picture of what the convention was from NEMA Student Association to UNICO? Can you give me a picture, a little description of what it was? Was that held during the evening hours, at night, or during the day? And how was the gathering like?
Oh, the conference was huge. David Zali, they came from Minnesota. Then Sam came from Wisconsin. It was loud. And at that same particular year, Republic of Liberia organization, ULA, they have that same conference that same year. It was huge.
So was it ULA first conference or it was just one of the conferences?
No, I think ULA, last time, we don't really know much about ULA, but it was still organized. It was still have the chapter here. But the scene here, we have UNICO. ULA too, they have their convention here. But UNICO was really huge. A lot of people came from everywhere. I think if I can't make mistake, it was maybe like 8 or 9 chapter at that time.
Oh, that's good. So I keep asking Edos that how was it getting to the conference area? Nowadays, we can easily get around. We can quickly fly to get around. And during that time, you talk about where you people were just coming. It was we didn't have too many Nigerians in America by that time, and transportation issue could have been a major problem. So when we are speaking for more than 60% of the delegates who arrived in Atlanta, how could we say they got there? Were they doing carpool? Were they flying? Or how did it happen?
Many of them were carpool. Those days were carpool.
Okay.
Yeah, many of them. Even after that, when we went to Ohio, we rented our car, carpool those days. Nobody could even afford or fly. Even like I said, South Carolina, North Carolina, this thing wasn't far. Francis and then drove.
So was the convention or the first conference, was it held in a hall or that was in the residence of someone?
Okay, the first it was at the clubhouse. It was a apartment clubhouse.
And well, I'm not sure if you recently went around that area, but do you think that area still exists or probably it has been transformed by developers?
It still exists. It was somewhere around Fairmont Road in Atlanta here.
Okay. So what did you people...
At that time, Stephen Joe, was living in that complex. He didn't want to make the connection.
And where is Stephen Joe?
Oh, Stephen Joe, he left and now, he is there. He went to Liberia during the Taylor time, government time. And he passed away, I think, last year. Arnold Tompier was in Ohio. He used to come, then later on, finally, he moved to Atlanta.
Okay. So true, because Stephen was present and then he knew people around there. You people went there, held a conference. How long was it for? Was it for a day or 3 days or something?
The conference started on Friday, as usual, until Sunday. Then after that, they appointed George Duo, who was dean of the Nimba University, to serve as a chairman at that time. There was no president, we used to call them chairman. And I served
Yeah.
as the first general secretary at the
So,
first convention.
so you serve as the first general secretary. Do you have any record
Mhm.
and then founding record from that convention? Do you know someone who has any
After my
record
yeah,
that? Uh-huh.
after my time, later on, I think of Bokwa, friend Bokwa came in. My time. But the person who gets a record that I know he can keep record, like John Bigler. He has
Okay.
almost everything.
So could that
Yeah, because
contain?
like I say, when I moved and got
Go ahead. Go ahead.
you know, that my children from move from place to place, you know, but John have a complete record. But when I served as the general secretary after my 10, friend Bokwa came in, and he the one was sending the document. I passed it over to him.
Okay. That document you talk about, do you think, well, we can speak for him, but you are very familiar with this man. Do you think he has some document that contain he has some documents that contain signatures of you people, the founding fathers, from that very first convention?
Friend Bokwa is not living. He died from COVID. He is not living. And I can't speak for him, you know, but I can't really tell. But I can still remember a lot of the people who came.
How about Edward John Bigler?
I mean, John Bigler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, John Bigler, yeah. Even the other
And
day, he talked with the current leader, same thing. He told them, they said that they want a copy. He said, well, he told them he can get them a copy to make a photocopy and give it back to him. Even if the first citation, he might have it.
that is cool, really. Is he in Atlanta, Georgia, or he's somewhere else?
You know, it's in Atlanta here. In fact,
Okay.
he's the same man when his mother passed away, when they came to sleep it out with him, and I reopened, you know, got the membership or how to organize ourselves. He's the same man when his mother passed away, the Nimba people in Atlanta that time, they came to sleep it out with him. That was the time we really got serious and formed Nimba Student Association. So he has most of the documents. I second most of the time. I lived together for almost 14 years. And he just got married and I just moved out. After my wife and said divorce, so he said, then wife passed away. So we're together. He had most of the documents.
Okay. I will definitely get in touch with him pretty soon. And then after this convention, what do you compare the momentum to be transforming from Nimba Student Association to UNICO? What was the objective? I understand that it was meant to get people together and help each other for immigration related issue or anything that might be of concern. And then later on in the early 80s, what do you think UNICO mission was shifting to?
Well, our mission at that time was mainly the immigration issue in America. Then after we went, I think the next conference was in Ohio. So that was the time now we Michael down. Then we set a committee. Then they draft the constitution of UNICO. So our main purpose at that time was immigration issue. And Nimba County, we was at least many in Atlanta here. And we used to feel the Republic of Liberia. It's a game. When we say game time, we used to pack on the feet. Nimba was the Republic of Liberia. But our main topic purpose was immigration issue. In case there is something happen to somebody, so at least we can be there for the person.
And what do you advise?
So that was our.
So if originally UNICO's focus was immigration issue, And immigration issue has not left us because can you imagine from the days of Jimmy Carter now to the days of the current administration? So I know you people perform pretty well when it comes to that. What do you advise us today? Because we're not focused on immigration issue anymore. Do you think we can still operate in that direction by having that as one of our focus points?
It should be one of our focal points because the situation ready now with the current leaders in America, we need to go back and revisit immigration issue because a lot of our
Yes. Go ahead. Yes.
because a lot of our boys or some of the women that they came, many of them came after the Civil War. Now, when we used to advise them, try to talk to them, they can call us, stay long people, but they don't know the experience that we went through. Because when we came, the Nigerian and they are bring white the United States women then. So as long as you approach one of them and say, "Oh, you want to marry me for green card, so you can stay in this country." That's some of the topics that we're going through with them. So we need to revisit that. It must be one part of our agenda while the organization is still going on. We still need to do things in Liberia, but we still need to see the interest of our people then here. We have been saying it over and over. From 1979 up to now, UNICO not even got a hall on her own. That's one of the sinful business.
Okay.
So we must not just concentrate on Liberia, but we also need to concentrate on the people that are here. Many of us who came as a funny father, we have children here, we born children here. And I can say maybe 30 or 40% of our children that are here, many of them have intention to go back to Liberia. So we always say going to remain here. So we still need to see the interest of the Liberian or Libanian that still live in the United States. Let's start off. For me, my children are growing. My younger one is 38 years old. I have 5 children.
Okay.
So I'm intending now to go back to Liberia, to go live there for some time. But many of my friends there, they have grandchildren there here. They don't want to go. So we need to really focus on the Liberian that are here. And also, we need to do a little bit much by home. So we not forget about those of all we organizations here. We got children, we got grandchildren there here.
That is really awesome. People have been talking about that there is something that UNICO has to do for the Nigerians here in America and not just focus on Liberia. And one thing you brought about here is fundamentally UNICO had focused on immigration. I keep talking about this. So today, I believe that there should be an outreach to understand which of our members might be struggling or which of our affiliate members or who is connected to some of our members struggling with immigration issue. And if there is a way that we can help to pass that point of the person's life. Because that spirit that brought us together in 1979 cannot be abandoned in 2026 when we still have a huge wave of immigration crisis going on. It does not have to be something like spending money to hire lawyers, but there are people here in UNICO who have idea on how immigration processes work that can sit together and say we can have a committee that will focus on helping Nigerians in America that are facing immigration issues. That could be application for green cards. That could be application for citizenship and basic things like that. Some coming do not have the money. And when they can't do these things, it might lead to a bigger problem. So if we can have a committee responsible for that, somebody will volunteer to help and that can work. Or that committee can also refer people to Lutheran World Service. Do they still have it here, though? Or some Catholic philanthropic branch that is responsible to help immigrants and organizations that they can be referred to come immediately to help. But once there's an active committee helping Nigerians in America with immigration process that way, I believe that is going to be very much worth it. Honestly, most of our people or some of our people are struggling with immigration related issues. And to understand tonight that that is the key thing that brought us together in 1979, I believe that the spirit of that should not be relinquished. Just to let it go out there and we turn our back from it. We got to rejuvenate that and make sure that it works. That is really, really important. So then,
In fact,
uh-huh.
in fact, in that process, at least 2 of our members were arrested with immigration issue in Atlanta here. And we were able to get them out. And today, they are citizens. Because if we were not going to be organized that time, probably many 2 of them might be deported to Liberia.
It is possible.
In Atlanta here.
Yeah, it is. And today, even today, some people from Nimba who are coming to this country are also going through the same struggle. And you can see that if people cannot intervene, if they are not aware that there's a body that exists here that can reach out to them, to sympathize with them, and even tell them that, hey, we can come in to help, or we can do some referrals that will get you out of that situation, then we will find ourselves always like having our people sleeping, away from us in a situation that we were able to help them, but having given them that help. I think this recommendation should go out there to UNICO. And that can be one of the things that we can do here for the people here in America. That we should have a committee that is responsible to reach out to Nigerians out there and see who is going through immigration process that they cannot afford or they don't have a direction, and we can step in to help. That is one of the things. So we know that UNICO came out right there in Atlanta, Georgia. And should we say, well, the administrative headquarters could be where the president is residing, but there is a term used for Atlanta, Georgia. That is, there is a term used, otherwise the headquarters or something like that for UNICO. So are you familiar with what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to get to a point that will best explain that Atlanta, Georgia is some headquarters for UNICO, something like that. Even though
yes, it's a
yeah. So does it have any infrastructure, or it is just something that is abstract based on the ideology that it was founded there?
It's just abstract. Like I was telling you, we don't have anything in Atlanta, Georgia here to say this is a UNICO, this is a UNICO baby. We don't.
Okay.
And you say but a lot of times we want to do things in Liberia because maybe some all want to have a motive to be a representative, and we forget and where we came from.
Yes. I think that is a good point also. We don't have any physical structure anywhere in this country that we can point at for our organization that has done immensely well. Now, I'm taking you back to the 80s and going through 1980 to 1985, and then from 1985 to 1990, I believe that the scope of operation was kind of changing a little bit based on conditions and how things were going on in Liberia. So, what was it like in the 80s to 1989?
Well, in the 80s, most of the time we were concentrate, just like I said, the people that were here. Then after the the coup, the Kyokwa coup that took place, we were able to rally and really help the Nimbania. We send you money to Liberia. We will charge each person $100, and we're able to rally to even transfer people from Monrovia to Ivory Coast, the West and Me community. We did that, and we helped a lot. Even during that time, we brought Joseph Fangalo, Wonkayo, we brought them from Ivory Coast to United States.
That was cool. So then the focal point shifted now to rescue mission in essence, transporting
Yeah.
people from Ezra to make their way here. And then you people had so much burden on your shoulder, now focusing more on our people back there in Africa than what it was here. So it has kind of been very dynamic, from immigration focus, from having a social group, and then to come to a point where it was an advocacy group. And then came the 90s, which I believe a lot of you couldn't easily travel to Liberia due to the war. So what went on in 1990s? That could be anything. It doesn't have to focus on any details. But I believe that conventions were being held every year from 1990 to 1999, and things were being discussed, and the organization grew more powerful than it was in the 80s. Uh, I think we lost our special guest. Hopefully, he gets back on. If he does not, then we will conclude the show. But I will get in touch with him and see if he is getting back. I believe he's been struggling with internet connection because there have been some flickering and everything has been kind of freezing out there on him. So if you are just joining us, this is The Voice, a future episode of the Insight Times. Our special guest tonight is the distinguished elder Jan Harris Yagawon, who is a founding father of UNICO and the first general secretary. He's back. Yes, sir. We lost you, and you thankfully got back.
Yeah, yeah, we went off. We went off my
Yeah.
phone. We went off.
Yeah. And so as I was saying, what do you remember of UNICO in the 90s?
In the 90s, like I told you, after Kuyonkpa saga, we were able to help in Liberia with food, transportation. Then it came to a point that was approaching almost 2000. There was a conflict in UNICO, and UNICO almost went down for another maybe 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
During the court allegation.
Okay. So during that time where there was conflict, was there convention still being held, or people just kind of paused things for that duration of time?
I mean, I think we stopped about maybe a year or two. There was no convention because there was a court issue. You know, that time Wangan was the president. That time it was a lot of allegations. Also, it was left, only point, left, right. So I don't think there was convention. UNICO was tough probably for almost maybe 2 or 3 years. Because after it happened, so always, we stood by. We gave up now. We're just sitting down to see. Until later on, then Paul Druki and so right then they were able to try to resolve the problem, and now UNICO is back 100%. But it came to a point that UNICO was tough for a little bit of a while.
That's awesome. I mean, that's good information you just gave right now. And then what advice do you give based on your experience spending over time from 79 to 2026, your involvement with UNICO, leadership and people? What advice do you have for the leadership in handling crisis? And what advice do you have for the members in helping to uplift the organization?
Well, UNICO is very strong now than before. I mean, they passed almost 4 from Yaduki administration to Sen. The other times, there were a little bit, it was good. Then something happened. But from that time up to now, UNICO is very, very strong. So at least we need to continue that. But my own suggestion is, if UNICO going to finish with the other project in Ganta, the Women's Center, we must table doing things in Liberia and try to have UNICO hall in America. So at least they said when you guys are coming with good idea, that you want to put a history together that's going to be remember forever times to come. So our grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, they're going to know where UNICO was established. But still, UNICO was founded in America. But with 99.9% of the UNICO members is still in America. My advice is we need to have a place in America. It's a UNICO hall. When somebody comes, it's maybe in the long run might be a tourist center to go there and say, this is UNICO. It's a group of people. It was here 1979. This is what they did. Instead of just all focused on Liberia, my advice, the next administration, after the women projects in Ghana, we must forget about going from place to place now to develop Liberia. So let's try to see the interest of us here to have a place for historical reason.
Okay. That's a wonderful idea. And if we have a center, that could be a small building, that could be anything where we can buy, then of course we are able to even have a place in that area where we can have historic information saved, founding documents placed and preserved, and then everything can be there where we can do a tour for new members who want to see some things that they've heard about and have not been able to see. That's a brilliant idea. So where would you recommend that such an infrastructure could be?
Well, and maybe I'm going to be a buyer. I propose to be in Atlanta, Georgia.
And then I will support that idea because that's
where that was found a group of guys came together, women who came together. So we want so that it be Atlanta, Georgia. Then in case if anything happened at Nipa University, Tappan University want to do a research, they can come here and do a research and carry Bible to teach our people then. So I'm going to recommend Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to be a buyer.
I think many people are going to support Atlanta, Georgia, because that is where our headquarters. I mean, we believe it is. So we can have the infrastructure there to be UNICO headquarters. That would be really, really awesome. And buildings, as I believe, are not very expensive in Georgia. We can have, well, Atlanta could be different. We can have something small. That cannot be something big. We can have something around 200,000 and 170,000. Just a space where we can have our documents and things placed and maintained. That's a wonderful idea. I think that can also be a sign that our presence in the States is solidified and it's not going anywhere. Now,
Yes.
Edward, here. And so now, what advice can you give us in dealing with the elders, in bringing it up to spotlight, in getting information from them? What do you think should be, what do you want for the elders that you don't see? You know, in our tradition, sometimes people want things they don't talk about. They will sit and just think about it, parade that in their minds. But what do you want to be done for the elders? Or what do you want the elders do for you, Nico? What do you want for the elders to get involved with that you don't see happening?
Well, one thing I want, and now the current administration have already established, we should be the advisor to the organization, the elder. So if anything is going wrong, instead of going to court, let's try it and resolve it. And the next thing too, so us, we have been in this country, we started from day one. We traveled to Tulsa, Oklahoma, we went to Ohio, we went to a lot of places, New York, New Jersey, or Illinois, we have traveled a lot. So at least the administration now, we are on Social Security now, they need to at least give us a break. Any conference now, we should not pay. We've been paying from day one, living a hotel. So at least let them think about it. It's just say, okay, you guys, maybe you can pay your way to come to the conference instead of all go ahead and pay your $100 due. or 200 are due, we are paid, we are given to the organization.
I thought about that when Eda Heltose came on the show, but I haven't voiced it out because I don't want to be the one to voice it out. And thankfully today you're coming up with that. I think in this country there is exemption for senior citizens. There are so many things here that senior citizens are not a part of when it comes to fees payment or assuming full responsibilities. Like you people who serve as icons of UNICO, the founder, and even those who are not part of the founding fathers, but have contributed immensely to this organization continually, and they've reached a part where their age has placed them in the elder category. I would also think it's reasonable that we make sure these people are not paying $100 convention fees. I think if you should go ahead and even look at the population and do that demographic, it's not going to be a significant reduction in whatever we can have here as fund that we raise. So
No,
maybe, yeah, if I'm gonna bring this forward, that is a great thing you just voiced out here. When you the elders come together, I don't know how you do your things. Y'all could present this to the administration. They can get to the board and have this conversation go on. And eventually, we wouldn't have elders. People at a certain age here will not be on obligation to pay $100 conference fees and then have their way paid to travel all the way back wherever the conference is held. I think that
mhm.
is a really good point, and it has serious moral backing as well. And a reasonable person wouldn't have an issue with that. But I would recommend that you can take that to the elder committee and you can push that, and then the committee can come on the show and talk about it. And then we will keep hearing that, and things can happen in light of that.
Okay, thank you for that.
So, if you just joining us, yep. If you just joining us, we have um Edo Nyan Harris Yagawan in studio, who is a founding member of UNICO and the first Secretary General. So you're lucky to see someone like that and interact with him. So the number we have here is 701 977 8854. 701 977 8854. You can call that number and ask the editor in studio questions or leave a comment, and we will be able to read that to him. So we have a comment here from President-elect Nessa McKay. She says, senior discount. I think that's a question. So just what you said is the same thing she's talking about here. That could be senior. Are you talking about senior discount in terms of payment or something like that? You know, and Ms. McCabe has been really, really helpful when it comes to this show. She has been present and she has supplied so many names that we can contact. I just want to publicly acknowledge that. So thankfully, for Harris, we have the president elect here. We got BB people on this show who can take this recommendation, but you, the elders, got to do your work and submit to them, and then they can start pushing that to the board. Let us make sure we have senior discount or entirely waive the registration fees for elders. That we know we can't keep having our people coming up there. They are in their 70s and paying convention fees, right? Yeah, so that
Yeah,
is going to work pretty well.
it's good that yeah, it's good that she is on the line.
Yeah,
She
she's
was the
always on the line.
first our president to recognize the founder, they honor us. And I really want
Wow.
to say public thank you. She was think about.
Yeah. You see, that is wonderful. That's why I like it when she's on the show, because she gets most of this information, and then in a few months she will be the one that all these things will be coming up to. So, and then she's familiarizing herself with everything here. So I think she might be coining the right words to use on that when it comes to pushing that before the board. But I would tell you, you people should not be silent about this. You got to
No.
talk about it all the time. You deserve this. You deserve this. So I will ask you for a closing statement while we await calls. If there's no call, we will take comments and then we will end the show. What will be your closing statements?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bakar. Pleasure to meet you. At least you are trying to put some things together that are going to make Unico to be greater tomorrow in the long run for our children, great grandchildren to see it tomorrow. And I encourage you to focus on it and do your best. And secondly, I just want to say thank you and thank to the audience. At least we try our best. We didn't do all, but we want for the incoming to focus on us in America and also think about Liberia. But the main thing is, I just want to say thank you and more to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Fayagawan, and we will always keep bringing you people on the show. We're just doing a round of editors. Then after that, we'll keep bringing you back for specific conversations. So if you're joining us, we are in studio with a distinguished editor, the first Secretary General of UNIGO, the Honorable Jan Harris Yagawan. And he has spoken very lengthily today. He's been with me for more than an hour. Key points he brought up here. The first is UNICO should focus also on America. After the projects in Liberia, we should have a presence here via an infrastructure that we can all point out, and that can also serve as a reservoir or an archive for our important documents. Edward Yagawan has also stressed that there is a need. It is important that EDO's convention fees be waived. That is an important point he brought up right now. That EDO convention fees be waived. The $100 with it, they can pay that way. They can get a hotel. They are going through all of that. That could be courtesy. These are the people who brought us here, so we should do something for them. He's gone. He's been having technical issue. And that is one thing he stressed on very, very seriously. The third one is immigration related. Edo Yagawan said that originally UNICO came together because of immigration reason, because people gather to sympathize with friends and have compassion for them to get involved with the activities and make sure to stay. Two instances in gift that UNICO got people that had immigration crisis. UNICO helped them and they got a citizenship. Had they not intervened, it would have been otherwise. So he's saying that we can still maintain that, though our focus has shifted drastically towards Liberia when it comes to development. And some of these cardinal points, we believe that they are not priority anymore because sometimes we feel we are all independent and we have money. Someone is going to connect with another person to help them. But we have the imbalance in this country that basic things, the green card application, citizenship application, that could be refugee status application. They just don't know how to do it and they don't have 5 grams, 8 grams to pay a lawyer to do so. So if our organization can have a committee that can make referral, not necessarily retaining lawyers, but people with knowledge on immigration. I have done immigration work in this country for more than 7 years. I've been helping a lot of people pro bono. I mean, I don't take money for that. And we've done an application from beginning to end. They've obtained green card and citizenship. If there's a committee here that can help Nimbayans, seek Nimbayans, and be recognized that this committee is responsible of helping Nimbayans put in a process, that will be helpful. If it comes to litigating in immigration court and people are not able to do that because they are not lawyers, then this committee can be referred to Lutheran World Service, some Catholic group, and those that are able to ensure that these people have what they want. That is one thing he recommended. So those are the points he brought. He just called me right now. And no, unfortunately, he got disconnected. But we want to thank you for always being present. This is a special treat here to the president-elect, Madam McKay. This is special greetings to Victoria Zaba. Special greetings here to the Honorable George Flomo. And special greetings to the Governor Moses Gwe. You are watching The Voice, the Inside Times special episode. That is how we conclude the show for tonight. We wish you a wonderful time.
Jonah aeroport ni mefia, gobe de domo ekmea yise. Fame kaka se etie, eya gobe mo, azungu sungu na kekeka. Nyame ogbele wake yawe, yawe. Me amone kwa yenu biafye.
Special greetings out there to Elder David Carr. Elder David Carr has just joined the show. We are almost out of the studio, but we will recognize you. Elder David Carr, special greetings from us to you. President-elect McKay says, thank you very much, honorable special guest. That is Elder Nyan Harris Yagawan, for the recognition of the Founders Day program. I highly appreciate you founders' services to our noble union. Victoria Yakba is watching from Iowa. And Moses Gwe is also watching from Des Moines, Iowa. We have Elder Carr watching from Minnesota. PD Flomo from Delaware. And President-elect McKay watching from Ohio. Thank you all. And this is how we conclude the show. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. The Voice.